Thank you. Turn those ornaments is always fun. Is the sound okay now? Can you hear me? Okay, good. All right, we talked earlier about the subject of the lamp, hurricane lamp. Some of you may not know what one looks like. We get everything on camera, okay? What happens is you embed this tin down inside so it disappears all the way up to this washer, and then with this on top of it, it makes a really neat lamp. There are two methods I use to make them. One is with a piece of solid wood. This is some Osage orange we had there. Decorative rings, tape on there to hold them in place while the glue dries, because you need some sort of a mechanism to clock this so that these come out even. You see some marks here and some tape on there to hold it while the glue's set up. So you don't want to just put, it's okay to take this ring and just set it on the Osage orange. There's no positioning problem. But when you take a top like this and put it on, you want it to kind of balance out. So we balance it so that all the red streaks would go through the blank squares. You had a decoration here, so I thought a decoration over here would look better and balance everything out. So that's the one type. Here's the other type, where the base is actually cut out of different colored woods, glued up, hollow. It has the same ring, has a solid top on this one. I figured this is decorative enough, especially with that ring. And notice that these little dots in here, they're just plugs. Cut a hole, drill a hole, and put a plug in it. So there's through about 3/8 of an inch. About a half of an inch deep. That ring is that ring looks kind of like this on the inside. You know, this is just showing you what size. Here's some other choices for tops. Where these are cut, of course, they're little triangles, and you have to have a couple of boards, but once you glue them up and flip them over, you get this pattern. So you had one board was white at the top, and you had another board that was red at the top. And they have to come out in opposites. So you got a white here, you have a red here. So how do you glue these up? Just a bunch of strips glued together. Piece of solid in the middle. So you get that kind of a pattern. That's kind of neat. Now this is kind of wouldn't be a good one to use on top of one of these hurricane lamps, because you're going to have to increase the size of that opening right there, and the tin for the tin to go in there, to just about take all that inside decoration out.
How long does it take you to do that inside section? Because they look like individual pieces.
Oh, they are. You glue up the two boards, and you set your angle. Everybody knows the formula for the angle, right? 260 degrees divided by x divided by 2. X is the number of pieces you want to use. So it's pretty simple formula. So 360 degrees, which is of course full circle, divided by, say, I use 16 a lot. So that comes out to 22.5 degrees. Divided by 2 is 11.25 degrees. So you would set that saw at 11.25 degrees. You can use a digital angle gauge, and you can, there are two types. If you want to tilt the blade, you've got a Wexley little angle gauge that magnetically goes onto your blade, and you can set the blade angle. But if you want to swing the arm, there's one there. There's a digital readout that goes against your fence, and it's got an arm on it. You can put it up against the blade and set it. Get you pretty close in the ballpark. You're still probably going to have to make a little bit of adjustment after that. There's also some like this. Like that. These are fun. That's an old quilt pattern. I've showed you all some of them before. It's what I use on top of those confetti lamps, which confetti lamp looks like, the blank looks like that. A little glass globe goes down in it's inserted into the hole in the wick and the oil. They burn really well. One turn looks kind of like that once you get it turned. And It's a good way to use up small pieces of wood, but that makes a really, really neat lamp. Set them on the table holiday season and burn them instead of candles, and they look really neat. Here's some other variations. Look at the difference here. This was one board, a red and a yellow. Just take a look at one section. The red's wider than the yellow, width-wise. So you set this angle, and you cut, and then you flip and go against a fence, and you cut again. So you're cutting, and you're flipping, cut, flip, cut, flip. It all comes out of one board. The only waste is your kerf, sawdust that comes out of there. So by having this red board wider than the yellow board, you get this ring in here. You get that effect there. No extra effort on your part except the width you cut the boards to. So that makes a nice effect. Here's one that's just starts with a red and ends with a white. You just glue a whole bunch of strips together.
That didn't take any time to do, did it?
No. It takes no more time than this. I mean, it's just a matter of cutting wedges and put them together. And once you glue up that one section of that board, it looks like that. The main thing is that you've got to have all these little strips the same width. They have to be the same width. So I run them through a Delta 13-inch planer, you know, the little bitch type model planer, and you can pretty well depend on that little Delta to plane them all the same width. Or I've got a 13 by 32 inch belt sander, and I can run them through. And that will assure you that they're because it's got a roller in the front and the back of the sending belt. It holds everything down tight. When those strips go through there, they come out really, really close to the same width. All of them are the same width. So that's the thing about this polychromatic. You have to have accurate boards if you're going to cut and flip and do this kind of cutting. The main thing is to have accurate boards. They've got to be the same width, uniform width, all the way down the same thickness. Because if you don't, you're going to get variations as you cut and flip and cut and flip. That board's off, it's going to start showing up big time in a short while, and you can waste a lot of material. So always check your boards. If you glue up a board to do any of this, always check your width and your thickness to make sure everything's even. These, show you that side. Look at that green. That's a piece of green poplar. Poplar will have a green streak in it every once in a while. Sometimes you'll find a blue streak in some poplar. But I've been saving that board for about 25 years.
Long use for it.
Yeah. No, excuse me. I'll be all right in a minute. I had an uncle that passed away. It was approximately 25 years ago. He had a farm up in Cobb County, and when he passed away, they told me, this is some lumber. My aunt called me and says, a bunch of lumber piled up down there in the shed, so if you want some of it, go get it. So I went down there, and what it was stuff that he had sawn up on the place there, some oak and maple and cherry and some other woods. He just used it to patch up the stalls in the barn. That's what his purpose for having this lumber there was. They'd saw it up and throw it somewhere and let it dry, and then use it to make repairs around the farm. But there was that one board of green poplar in there, and I grabbed onto that in a hurry. And like I say, no kidding, it'd been sitting back there for 25 years. I got out of the day, I said, wow, that'll make some good confetti lamp tops with that green and red combination. So got it out and glued it up. There's only one problem. That green's only about that thick. It's only about 3/8 to 5/8 thick as sapwood on the bottom side. So you got to be really careful not to take a lot of that green off. When I turn these, I've got to be really careful not to take a lot of green. Normally, I just put these little blocks out here. They don't meet. They don't have a joint. Because what you're doing, you're turning this around. If you don't have this block in front of this point right here, in front of this diamond point, when you turn that diamond point, it'll go flat. That point will go flat. So you've got this piece out here to protect the integrity of the point. Those little pieces, that's them in this one right here. See them? That's where the little pieces out there end up. And notice all the diamonds still have their point. So that protects that point. If that wasn't there and you turned it down, that when you got to the end of it down here, that star would go flat. That point would go flat right there. So that's the purpose of that. It's to protect that point. And flat pointy stars aren't real pretty. Oh, same thing, smaller scale. What is that? Is it 3 boxes stacked up, or 3 boxes stacked up that way, or 3 boxes like that, or do some of them have a walnut top, or, you know, it's different patterns. They change, depending on the colors you want to use. And the boxes stack in different directions. You turn them around. That's kind of fascinating. But like I mentioned earlier, this is an old quilt pattern called a walk in the garden. My mother made quilts like that, and you make them all the pieces the same. Then you sew them together to make a quilt top. And these pieces here become the walks between the flower gardens. And she would make a lot of these out of flower fabrics with flowers on it, and then put solid around it, and they call it a walk in the garden. So it's been around for a few hundred years.
Do you use any special glue?
I use Titebond, the regular Titebond, not the 2 or 3, just regular Titebond. And the reason for that is it tacks a lot quicker than some of the other glues. My favorite glue is Borden's Pro Bond. It's kind of hard to find sometimes. You'll find Elmer's glue, you know, white glue, but Borden's makes a yellow glue, and it's that Pro Bond they call it, but it tacks even quicker than the Titebond. So when you're putting together that many pieces, you want them to tack pretty quick as possible. You don't want any chance for slipping, sliding, movement. You put pressure on it, these things will move. Of course, when they're glued up, they've got tape on the back, got masking tape on the back to hold them in place. That's the way you assemble them. Then you put the glue in and wrap this with that stretchy tape, and it sets up like that.
Oh, okay, you did.
But
What do you wrap it with?
that 3M stretchable packing tape, that clamps everything here. Whoops.
Where do you get that?
Everything you can order it from Uline. Staples has it sometimes. You can get a roll from me. I buy it by the case. Any of you are familiar with this product? 1 inch of it stretches to almost a foot, and it's sticky.
Well, I talked to Hilda about getting some of that. Now, whether they've tried to get it yet or not, I don't know.
Yeah. I talked to that was, well, how many of you know who Dale Nish is? Okay, Dale came to my house and spent 3 or 4 days with me, and we took some pictures of me turning us a Christmas tree ornament, and he's going to put it in a book he's publishing. And this was one of the things that fascinated him. I showed him this stretchy tape and how it worked, and he's going to start carrying out there at craft supply. So that might be another source where you can get some of it. But you put this on here, you put glue in all those joints, you put it on here and you stretch, and you pull, you stretch, and it breaks in 2. It's not supposed to do that, but you can see what happens. I've dropped that about 10 times, and that's pulled up nice and tight. It's going to hold it till the glue dries. As soon as you get it wrapped, reach around the back side and peel that masking tape off. Because if that glue dries against that masking tape, you're going to have to scrape it off, and that's not fun. Because these would now be run through a sand. These are for coasters. Probably turn these around and make a set of coasters out of these smaller ones.
Are they 30-degree angles?
Yeah. This is what I call fun with 30 degrees. I didn't mention that, did I? You swing a real arm saw to 30 degrees and cut 3 pieces. The main thing is that, well, let me talk about it a second here. Can you see that?
Can you use the board over there?
Yeah, I can. Be easier. Okay, you've got a fence. You've set your saw blade up for 30 degrees coming through that fence. Use that digital angle protractor to set it, got it exactly 30 degrees, and you take a strip of wood, say it's 1 inch wide, put it up here, saw the end of it off, slide it down the fence, you're going to fasten it there, and that's going to be your stop. Your diamonds are going to come out of here. The important thing is after you make this first cut, doesn't matter what the width of this strip is, but after you make this first cut, you measure from here to here. And then you set this down that fence the same distance. Now we can put a little algebra in there, you know. You say A equals B equals C equals D. But they used to work with that stuff years ago, right? A equals B equals C equals D. So that just means that every side is equal distance. When you get that set at 30 degrees, and all these sides are equal distance by measuring across the cut you made and moving down the fence the same distance, and set this stop, clamp this stop in place with a clamp. Now every time you shove a piece of material in there, hold it down with some kind of little stop and saw through it, you're producing a diamond. You put 3 of them together and they'll make one little box.
You show what 3 little diamonds look like.
Yeah, right.
So you're holding the little cutoff piece down with a stop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the time I'll take and put a pivot right here and put a round end on this and put a wood screw in there. So when I shove that down, I can pull on this handle in this direction and hold it in place. So you got one hand out here pushing down this handle and one hand up here pulling on the saw, and it makes it a really safe cut. Plus every time you cut, when the saw goes back, blade goes back behind the fence, excuse me. So every time you produce one, he wants me to make one because he knows I have a hard time drawing the boxes, but there it is. 3 diamonds together will form that little box pattern, but that's the way you cut them. Fun with 30 degrees. Excuse me. What's that?
Show that piece with the diamond.
Oh, okay. How about that one right there? I think it's safe to take the tape off of that one.
What you made, you just made sure that all your pieces for that particular one were all the same width and thick, well, not thickness because you had the problem with the one green one.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, the thickness doesn't matter on this. You're going to turn that down. Yeah. Can see that stretchy tape? It was on there overnight. We glued this up yesterday. It's on there overnight. Comes off. Everything seems to be nice and dry and well put together, and everything seems to fit. That's that poplar with a green streak in it. This is bloodwood, and that is a wood called Ishpingo. Had a few boards of that come from South America. Haven't seen any of it lately. It has a weird smell, and then this again is bloodwood on the outside. Excuse me just a minute. I got to open up my Coke here and have a sip.
Do you try to even that other side out on that diamond?
I run them through that 13 by 32 inch belt sander and smooth up both sides. That poplar, and here's a good example too. This cedar was a little thicker. Really, I only need one flat side because I'm going to glue it down to a block. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but just about every one of these are glued to a piece of plywood. Now that plywood's made up out of veneer that I made up, 3 layers. This one has purple, white, and purple. And I put it together just like you would plywood. One grain going in this direction, the middle one going in that direction, the third one going opposite direction, so that it is plywood. This is done because when you glue this top on here, this is put together and all those joints in it. Any movement down here can pull the joint apart. But if you put the plywood in there, this piece of solid wood, it's going to move. I guarantee you it's going to move. Everybody that turns wood know that when you turn this around, it's actually going to be egg-shaped. Because when you sand it, on the side where you're going with the grain is going to sand more than the end grain. So nothing that's ever round in wood, it's always a little bit egg-shaped. You just learn to live with it. So this is going to move, but it's not going to be felt through that plywood into this and cause any problems up here. And here again on this hurricane mount, plywood here and here. This is going to be a goodly amount of movement in this piece of Osage orange here. It's a piece I cut and it's been drying for a couple of years, but it's still going to have some movement in it. Now, when I turn this, I'm going to be turning it across the grain in this direction. It's not going to move as much as it will if you're turning, something with flat sawn piece, because you've got all side grain in this. But that's what these little plywood sheets are about. Number one, they're protection, and number two, they're decorative.
How thick is that plywood? I mean, like 1/32 of an inch, 3 pieces?
That one is about 1/40, 3 pieces. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Don, why don't you pass some of those diamonds and
Oh, you want to send some of them around? Sure.
some of those around?
Get a start on it. Well, you don't need more than them. Just a couple of them. That's enough. Okay, then there's another type of decorative ring you can make. There's only 2 cuts. There's only 2 cuts you can make when you're producing something like this. There's flat cut, straight cut, like these diamonds are cut flat. These wedges here are cut flat. These wedges in this ring here are cut flat, and what I mean like that, the board's laying up there, it's laying flat, and you've got the side blade swung to a certain degree. And you cut and you flip and you produce wedges. And it makes a circle like this right here. That's a straight cut or a flat cut. The other cut you make is a compound cut. And that's where you swing the arm and tilt the blade. Both. Now, they're the same thing. There's no difference in the 2 cuts. How many people agree with that? He does. What it is, if you're setting a compound angle, I use this book right here. This is available from Bridge City Tool Works. Common Guide to Compound Angles, Woodworker's Guide. It says $5 down here, but they've gone up to $7.50. They charge you about another $7 to ship it from Seattle. I use 16 sides a lot. I know a lot of you have seen this before and seen this me talk about this book before. But see the little illustrations over on the side? If I tell you that I want you to cut me something with a 20-degree side angle, how many of you can see a 20-degree side angle in your head? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Where is it? I don't know. I can't. 20 degrees? I know approximately where 20 degrees is. I see if that's 45, 20 somewhere right along here, but I don't know exactly where. So by looking at these illustrations, that little illustration right under my finger, I don't know if you can pick him up or not.
Hold it flat under the got it.
You got it?
I got it right there. It's perfect camera.
All right.
It's not working? I got it. Okay.
That's 20-degree side angle. See the little lines angled?
Yeah.
Angle that way. Let me show that.
John, there's a guy in Kansas City that's got a PC program
Yeah.
that you can put all that where you're doing compound or flat surfaces.
Yeah, I've seen that.
About $35. It works.
What we're looking at there, that's a 20-degree side angle. So that's what we're looking at. A 30 degree is going to be a little more, 45 is going to be like that. So that's what we're talking about is a side angle, the distance between this tabletop that this is sitting on and the side of the piece you're working with. So let me give you a quote out of here. I use 30. This is about I don't know. That's about a 15-degree side angle there. If you turn that upside down, it doesn't taper a whole lot. I use 16 a lot for some molds I make, so I'm familiar with the 16 pieces here. I'm on the 16 page, and I do a 30-degree side angle a lot. And I'm going to read you this. It says rail arm or taper jig or miter gauge to 84.320. Oh. everybody's got something they can measure 84.32 degrees on, right? Wrong. And it says to the saw blade, set it to 80.273. Now, if you subtract these from 90 to get the correct angle, so 84.3, that's close enough to 85 to suit me. Subtract that from 90, that's 5 degrees. Okay, the other one is 80.273. That's close enough to 80. Subtract that from 90, you got 10. For a bowl with a 30-degree side angle, it's 5 and 10 degrees. You swing the arm of the radial arm saw to 5 degrees, you lock it down, you don't touch it anymore. So back to the subject, that there's only two kind of cuts. One is where you're cutting flat pieces, the other you're cutting compound pieces, but there's no difference in the way you set up to do it. Because once you swing that arm again, you never touch it. The only adjustment you make is in the blade angle so that you can form a circle. So it's the same thing, whether you're setting that blade up over here at 90 degrees or whether you're setting it up over here at some angle, it doesn't matter. You're setting up a blade to make a cut. And the only adjustment you're making is the saw blade itself. So there's no difference whether it's a compound cut or whether it's a straight cut. It's the same kind of setup, because once you swing that arm, lock it down, you won't touch it anymore. You'll never get a setup if you try to change both angles. You'll never make it. So you set that one angle, and that's it. So all you're doing, this is going to come out to be a compound cut because you've swung and you've tilted. So it's going to be a compound cut, and it's going to give you something like this. Or like this. I glued this one up yesterday just to have it to show you what method I use to clamp these things up. You can wrap this part down here on this sharp corner, on this sharp edge with that stretchy tape, but you can't put it on this surface here. It'll slide right off. So I just turned the tape around and went and wrapped it this way. Pulled it real tight. Now I got this tape going around and pulled the whole thing tight. So that's hopefully a pretty good cut I got up there.
You can't cut that real small stuff with a radial arm saw, can you?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Real small pieces?
Sure. You make a safe enough setup. If this diamond we were cutting up here weren't but that big, I could still take something like this and put a tip on it, bring it way out here, put a stop right here, push that piece up, pull on that handle. That point will go in there, put a pivot point here somewhere with a screw. That'll go in there and hold that little diamond in place. I can cut it. 1/4 inch wide, I can cut it. But anything you cut like that, you want to do this. You want to make a safety device to hold it in place. You can come up over the top of it with a wooden spring. I have done that, where you take a piece of oak and have it bear down on the piece when hold it in place. But this is better because you pull on that handle and it's going to hold that little tiny piece in place. Safety is one of the main issues in this, and you've got to really be careful. You don't want to get your hands around that saw blade. So those little hold downs will do it for you. You can cut a little bitty teeny piece as long as you make the right setup. Okay, I'm finally getting all the tape off this, I think. Can pass that around and take a look at it. I glued it up yesterday. Pull that masking tape off if you want to and check the outside joints.
Don, how are you getting the outside bevels cut?
That's next. Okay, you've got a piece like that and you've got to do something with it. You've got this bevel on here, so you can't grip it with a chuck jaws or up on a regular chuck. The jaws are too shallow to fit up here and grab this corner. So I've got to mount this in this direction on a chuck. So I just happen to have a setup here like that. Ready to go. Where's the one with the screws in it? Here it is. Look at this.
You build that or buy?
It's just a regular set of jaws for a big mark chuck. What they want to call big mark chuck. These are jaws that you can available for it. These come off. They got screws on the back side. You can take these off and you got this big steel plate. So look at that. What I got there is 4 screws. You don't have to have a whole bunch to mount something like this. Nope, not anywhere near there yet, but I'll get there in a minute. Now this will work on the jumbo jaws too. On any of your chucks that's got the jumbo jaws, you don't have to have those rubber feet. These screws with a tapered head like that. Aha! Success! I got it down there. Now I tighten that up, give it a pop, make sure it's tight. Now I've got control of this thing. It goes all the way down. You want to check that? No, it's not. It needs a whack right there. Now I can adjust these then with the Allen wrench and make sure that they're down touching it at the right spot, and then tighten this back up a little bit. I've got it captured. All I've got to do to it now is make a little dovetail here. So you can see I went in there and smoothed up the side, and I took a point of a skew and made a little dovetail. Now I can reverse chuck it into the jaws of a regular chuck, the regular jaws on the chuck, and I've got access to the inside and the outside. So I can continuously flip it back and forth if I need to shape this ring any way I want it. Because I've got these screws to hold it from here, and I've got a regular set of jaws that can hold it here. So that's the way you handle something like this. That works on those bigger ones too, except that one there, it would take a bigger, you'd have to come out here to these screw holes out here. And 4 screws is enough. You can put 8 in here if you wanted to. And again, the jumbo jaws will work. Even with the rubber feet they'll work, but the rubber feet get in the way and you can't work down as close to your work as you'd like to with rubber feet on there sometimes. But that's just another good method of holding pieces in the lathe. With these screws, because you can adjust them in and out by adjusting the chuck jaws, and no matter what the thickness is, you can adjust the screws in and out in this direction to fit whatever piece you're trying to mount. So it's just another good way to mount something so that you're in control of what you're.
Did you add those screw holes, those extra screw holes?
No, they came that way. Just like the jumbo jaws has all those holes in it, the chuck that came that way, yeah.
So Ron, what you're telling me is every one of these is 30-degree cut diamonds, and that's it?
That's it.
That's the cut?
That's it. Even the cut on the pieces on the outside, that's 30 degrees, because it has to be 30 degrees to fit around the outside to make the border.
So you start making a
Once you set 30 degrees, you can cut it those, once you got the 30 degrees, you can cut as many as you like, and by varying the width of the pieces and then measuring down the fist where you put your stop, like I described up there, you can make them any size, even from 1/4 inch to whatever. So they're fun. They make coasters, they make decorative tops for turnings, they make a lot of different. All right, any questions on that section of how these parts and pieces are made, turned, glued up, grasped? Okay, I brought a chunk of cedar. I'm going to use this center finder to sort of roughly locate the center here. This is one that I cut. I cut this block of cedar out of a log, and it's not round, but it's somewhere probably close to round. But hey, I got see that? It's kind of hard to see, I'm sure. But I got 3 lines, and by golly, they all came together. So even though this thing is really rough, so I'm going to say that is the center. When 3 lines come together, it's time to quit. I guarantee you that 4th one's not gonna. This cedar brought to me green right out of the log, and took a chainsaw, sawed it up into about that thickness right there, that width. Well, no, I did trim this up on the bandsaw. It was sawed in sections about like that, about 1 inch on each end. And I use glue and newspaper to dry these things. I got some old glue there. I've always got a bottle of old glue or a gallon of old glue. And I'll take one of these cards like this red card over here, put about 10 layers of newspaper in the bottom of it, put glue all over one end of this, and just set it down that newspaper, as many of as I can get in one card. And then all the other ends are sticking up, then I'll cut some newspaper to the right size, approximately, and dab glue on the top of them, then pad that newspaper down on 3 or 4 layers. Just leave it on the card, let it set for about a week, till all that glue's running everywhere. It puddles all over the place because you rub it on your hand. And then let it dry, trim it, and set it aside for a year, 2 years. This probably been put away for a couple of years. Best I remember when I cut it. Seal the ends. If you don't seal the ends, it'll crack like crazy as it dries. You've got to seal those ends up so that you can control the amount of moisture coming out of it. They sell bowl seal for that. You can buy a product they sell just for that. It's a clear liquid that seals up the ends for you, kind of a waxy liquid. But I just use the old glue in the newspaper. But you need to seal it up and let it dry so that you don't get a whole bunch of cracks.
I've seen some people put paint on it.
Paint will work. Old latex paint, shoot ya. You can use old latex paint. Making sure every one of these 4 blades has a nice indentation in there. Do the other end. You're not supposed to bang on these with the bearings in them, but I'm not going to bang on this one very much. I meant to bring one of the others, the solid ones, but okay, that's probably enough. Yeah, I won't use that. It doesn't matter. But what are you going to do? Pass that around? Or? Oh, okay. Now, it's a pretty good sized piece of wood. And we're going to mount it on here. We're going to spin it around. The first thing you do is you make sure this lid is turned off, and you make sure this speed control is turned all the way to the left, off, 0, no rotation, not moving. If you leave that up to maximum speed and mount this piece in there and flip the switch on, it's going to go sailing. Good chance that it's going to go sailing because centrifugal force is going to. Whether you know it or not, we had somebody in our area injured because they were turning something at too high a rate of speed. So be careful with that speed. Get in there. There it goes. Okay, second thing, set up. You mount that in there. You make darn sure that's tight. This is loose, you crank this in, pump that one more time and crank it in some more, that feels nice and tight, and then lock it down right here. Now it's time to turn it by hand. Make sure that it's not hitting this tool rest. Put it on there, sometimes it'll be egg shaped, turn it on and come around and hit, bam, on again. The next thing is when you turn it on, you're going to stand way over here. Yeah. You're going to pull the switch on, and you're going to bring the speed up slowly. Sounds good. Piece of paper, newspaper ticking onto the tool rest there. That's about 700, 684, something like that. That's about fast enough for the initial cut. So turn it off. Yeah. I hate stitches on my shirt, so I always wear my smart. Pocket, you clip it on there somewhere. Okay, how's that? Everybody still hear me? All right, we're going to round this thing up a little bit. That's close enough. I'm going to use a what?
Put this on your back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Keep from getting caught in the lane. That'd be a good. That's good safety.
Yeah.
Good safety move there. I knew it was in there somewhere. Sort of a rough and gouge here. Maybe you can get a picture of that. All right. Dust be gone. I use these exclusively. They're not cheap. They may have them here, I'm not sure. But
Not yet.
if they don't, they should. These are made out of some material that's double layered. And I've tried every kind, even the big ones with the, and this is the only one I ever found that really worked that I like. It doesn't bother me any at all. This kind of weather like we got going now, how has this been lately? You get to where you're not breathing well, you look and there's a dirty spot there, the dust is collected on the outside of it. Take it to the sink, wash it out, let the water flow from the inside, it'll wash that dirt and dust out. Put it back on while it's wet, even breathes better. It's a great mask.
How expensive are those?
About $45, something like that. Well, golly, lasts forever. Velcro in the back, or wire. You fit it on your nose and on your cheek. My glasses don't fog with this breather. How many of you have ever worn a breather that you had a problem with your glasses fogging? Everybody said put on a breather, probably. All right, pull this out. Excuse me. We'll make it around here. We're going to make some really light cuts. All right, now that I've made a few rounds, I'm going to stop it. We'll take this loose. See there? You'll see it turn. It wouldn't turn that far a while ago. It's something about when you're turning something, after it turns for a minute, it loosens up. I think it sinks its way into the wood a little further as it goes around or something. I'm not sure what happens. But it's always gets a little bit loose there. So I don't have to check that every once in a while. Keep this locked in place. Now if I can turn this, I can go back and forth. But if I come back this way, say the chips right in me, I don't want them. I don't want the chips all over me, so I'm turning this direction and coming back. But you can do this. Well, we're not round yet, but one way I can tell, here, that means there's flat places up there. I'll have to stop and look at it. All right, let's test it again. That sounds pretty good, though. Let's stop it. Looks pretty round. Got a knot there, or two, but that's okay in cedar. All right. Pretty piece of wood. I can move my tool wrist up now. I'm going to get out a parting tool and work on this end a little bit. I'll work from out here to so far in. That smells good. Pretty dovetail. While I'm in this position, I'm going to go ahead and clean up this end a little. It's really uneven. All right, hear that sound? You got to make it a hollow sound there. It's time to stop and break this off. We don't want it flying out in the audience. Hadn't quite got down to the paper yet. A little more off. That chatter you hear is because I'm at the very end. I've lost all my mechanical advantage. Almost 90 degrees. Close enough. All right. A cylinder with a dovetail on this end and a little left on this end so that it can't get away. We can take that out now. finish up with the regular jaws, would you please? I don't have one of the regular jaws. Do this will do. Step jaws will work, I think. We'll know in a minute. Reach. Where to put the reach? Had it just in the clip. Told you a while ago. Just had it a minute ago. It's here somewhere. There it is. We knew it was there. We just didn't know where. You know, I used to do stuff like that easy. Things happen, you know, when you get older. I don't suppose any of y'all have a problem when you're in the shop and you go back to the back, you get back there and you say, what did I come back here for? That don't happen to any of y'all, I hope. Okay. That's not going to work. Didn't make it deep enough. Okay. Go ahead and change out them. See, where's the other set of jaws with these? Put a regular set on there. All right. If we've got a regular set, I don't even know we got a set. Oh, we got a regular set already, man. I remember now. All right. Yeah. Nope. Got a lock. Work. Now get this out of the way. Yeah. Got it. I got it. Maybe this will work. Maybe not. We'll see. All right, let's see what happens. Am I going in the right direction? Yeah. You're almost there. Yeah. When you tighten this down, I know there's no reason I can think of for this, but when you put something in here, in a chuck, tighten it on one side, then go to the other side and give it another tweak. For some reason, one side will turn more than the other. Do that 2 or 3 times. Okay, here again, this is a first mount. Turn the speed all the way down, take the switch on and bring it up slowly. See if everything's okay. If it's not mounted right, it's going to be loping up and down. You have a problem. You pull that switch and you're up at a high speed, problems. That's the only way I know to describe it. Bang! Ah! Things like that.
Had a window over there. I didn't do that recording. Did you do that?
Okay. Now we're going to let's make sure that's tight so it doesn't get. Take it off? No, it's fine.
Show them your other piece what you're going to do, Don.
Oh. I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to put a inside dovetail because I don't want to have to cut this off later. Anything will work for this. Now here you got to make some light cuts. You've lost all your mechanical advantage here. You go and jam this tool in there real tight. This cedar's fairly soft.
it better to make that dovetail bigger or smaller?
I want it pretty small. And the reason being, I'm going to turn this lamp, it's going to be tapered toward the bottom some. It'll be, similar to this. So this is not going to be too big down here. So if I'm going to put in there an expansion, I want a fairly small indentation in this solid piece. That was too big. That could have been a little smaller. Now I can drill this hole here for that tin to go in. That can end up being the bottom. But if I do that, then I've got to come back and mount it here and turn that tongue off. That'll work too. But I just rather have it inside expansion than I had compression. Boy, that's dry, isn't it? Been sitting around a couple of years. It's protesting because we're making a lot of surface contact down there. All of y'all know John Reuter, I guess. Wave, John, so I know who you are. John is my assistant up at John C. Campbell. When I teach classes up there, he teaches along with me. And a couple of reasons for that. One is I'm going to retire one of these days and let him have them. And two is, if something happens and I couldn't make it, he can take the class and be right on. And if you have any questions about any of these processes or anything that's happening here, John would be a good man to ask about it. So with Jonathan, he's been working with me a lot on some of this stuff. So y'all notice every time I put this in a chuck, I turn this. What's that?
The gap between the
no, that's what I'm looking to make sure. It looks good. These chucks, I bought a couple of them straight from Vicmark, and just like the water below the equator, when you turn the jaws out here, they go in the opposite direction. Then I bought some of them made in the United States. A couple of those, they turn in the normal direction. So every time I put a chuck in, I know which one's which, so I have to turn both of them both ways to see which way it's going. But those oscillates, they're something.
Something safety-wise, and especially if you're not real strong, you can use your tailstock to help you mount that into the truck.
Oh, absolutely. Good point, John. Put your tailstock in here. You got a center spot right there. Push it in. Tighten your chuck down. It'll help you get pressure on it. All right.
And especially you've got that center point still there, so that you can have the center come up, and that'll help you get a good even pressure up against the face of that jaw.
All right, so we're going to make a hole in here. We're going to have something like this, maybe two of these. So I need to make a hole in here about a little over half as deep as that can, something about like that. I don't care if it's too deep, it's not a problem. So about a half a can plus a little more, about right there. That's about that deep. So the drill bit, it's about that deep. I love this accurate measurement. Yeah. I could go ahead and cut this off now, but it'd be easier to do after the hole's drilled. Okay.
So that drill remains stationary and operating.
Oh, yeah.
This is stupid questions from the scroll saw.
No, not a problem.
Basically, drilling all the way through it, because once you get done, whatever you do, the else will get fixed there. So that doesn't keep spinning like it's being done all the way around.
What speed is you doing about 3 feet?
Yep. See if it starts smoke? That's not good. 270, 260, that's good. Now, if I were doing this in my shop, I'd have an air hose here. I'd be blowing up what we were moving out of there. This you don't hurry. You don't have to have this this hole in here to haul this out, but it sure does make it a lot easier. That sounds like it's a 3. Whoops. Get back in there. I'm going to stop it, turn this down to 0. I'm going to check this one more time. Burn. Pushing bit did not do well in end grain. That multi-spur bit like that one, you don't care whether it's end grain or not, it'll cut the heck out of it. But you burn a portion of bit up in just a short while. Okay. About 1,000 RPMs. I'm going to get rid of that. I'll use a deep bowl gouge. It doesn't really matter. Again, I'm going to do light cuts. Ooh, that cedar turned like ice cream after turning that Osage orange over there the other day. Trying to look at, get it somewhere close to 90. Okay, it's time to haul that out a little bit now. I got a Benjamin's Best high-speed steel. It used to be a round nose, and I ground the shape on it. Can you see that? You show up against that black.
Yeah.
Makes a good hauling tool. I'm gonna move this tool rest up a little bit. Though I've lost my mechanical advantage here. Turn it by hand. Make sure nothing's scrubbing. Turn it on. I can start increasing the size of this hole. Tool rest too low. Turn it by hand, turn it on. Ah, just right. Okay, this is 2 5/8. Would be about right. That'd be tight.
What's the take on the cords?
Uh-oh.
This is not 3M tape.
That's what the problem is, yeah.
Use that stretchy tape.
All right, somebody tell me what's half of 2 5/8.
1 5 6 18.
Something like that right there. Looks good to me. Okay, go right ahead. That's a little big. So long as I stay inside that line, I'll be cool. And we'll use this one. I'll show y'all something else. When you're hollering something like this, there's a round nose.
It's not working.
It's doesn't have that particular round nose, just a plain old half-inch round nose, nice and thick, doesn't vibrate. You can work deep with it. That other one's a little bit thin. The deeper you get, the more problems you have. But you'd be surprised what you can do with just a round nose. So I've lost all my mechanical advantage. I'm at this point here. And the other methods we used to make those cuts. So have you got some ideas on how you do it, or how you would do it, or something different? They make all kind of hollering tools. Nothing. Cedar don't like to be scraped on the end ring.
You didn't make that the correct size with the drill because you said the drill would force.
Fortunately, they would burn up. They just burn up. And those things are fairly expensive, you know. Go back to this little side cutter now. That's the same tool I used to haul out those Christmas tree ornaments. All right, I'm almost to the bottom of my world. Oh, I am there. Okay. Just need to take a little more out from right there, and okay, let's try that 10, see if that opens big enough. Ooh, just a hair. Just a little bit. Now remember, when you're doing this, I said that's a hair. You're cutting that hair off of this side, but if you cut a hair off this side, you're also cutting a hair off of that side. So you got to cut a half a hair. But, well, I don't have any, but right, let's check it out and see what we got here.
When you go in there, are you undercutting that a little bit?
Not really.
No?
Let me look at it and see. Nope.
Watch this cord.
Cord messing up again.
Need some about 3M tape, don't I?
Yeah.
Let's do some of that stretchy tape. Just put it on the
I got some real masking tape.
You got a knife?
For some reason, real masking tape. Where is it? Here it is, right here.
Yeah, that'd work.
Where do you buy those cans?
I got these from Crossply USA, wood turning store out in Provo, Utah. Bill Nish put me in his Christmas tree book that he's publishing, and he's giving me an invitation to come out there in Provo and teach next year. He's going to set me up a class out there, and I'm really looking forward to that.
What's your tool?
Whoops. Okay. Do I need to smooth the bottom up anymore? Or? Nope, looks good to me. Okay, I made a little tongue there. See that tongue sticking out? I want to make sure that this part's flat. A little bit heavy on the outside. Need to take just a little off the outside here. Wasn't really enough to be concerned about. Oh, just a hair more. What I'm looking for is touching here and it's touching here, but there's a crack in the middle. I'm just trying to get that surface flat. And obviously, I'm not doing it right because it's getting worse instead of better. Strictly scraping here, scraping end grain, getting a real fine chip off of there. One little hair more. There it is. That's pretty darn flat. That's touching here and in the middle and over there too. I've got a little tongue sticking up here. I'm going to taper it just a little bit. And I'm going to flatten this a little bit. Probably doesn't matter. And that'll work. I do a lot of scraping. I can't, first of all, when I'm trying to get a surface perfectly flat here, I always have to scrape it. I can't take a bowl gouge or spindle gouge or something and flatten it very well. There's nothing wrong with scraping when you have to. Okay, that's going to work. How are we doing for time? We okay? We're over? Okay. Let me know. I can pick up the pace. Okay, that's good. Sometimes when you have these meets, folks get ready to go home. They can start. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
We had a couple of leaves.
Okay, there it is. We'll take a look at it, closer look at it in a minute, but right now I've got to do something else. Let's see.
Hold that extra ring.
Okay, that's what I'm about to talk about right now. We're gonna do that. Yeah, that one. That's the one we want to put on here. See this decorative ring right here? It's made up of blocks. Looks like bloodwood and oak. Little piece of black veneer in between each one of them. Got a zebra wood plug in it. Plywood on both sides. Hollow in the middle. I'm going to put this ring on here. It's kind of hard just to throw it up there and get it centered perfect. So I cut this tenon on here. I've got a little tape on it. I'm going to mount this in the chuck now. And I'm going to try to turn the recess just enough for that thing to go up in and see if it won't help center it a little bit. Whoops. They always do that. Everybody see what happens there? It's you got these adapters that screw in the back of these big mark chucks so that you can put them on different, mount them on different machines. 1 inch 8, 1 inch, whatever. Sometimes they come loose there instead of back here where you want them to. Where we mount that in? This? Yeah, that's so. What's that?
Here's the other one.
Maybe this will go in there. Oh yeah, it'll go. Let's see, do I want it that way? Yeah. I'm trying to determine if I want my little dots up or down. I want them down against this surface. So, yeah. There's this. Oh, something like 5 inches, 2.5. Turn it on. When you get to the center, your pencil stops. So that's where you find center. That was approximately 5 inches, so 2.5. 1, 2, somewhere right around there. That's close enough. Okay, I can turn the speed up a little bit now. We'll go debow got anything just to get rid of some of this material here. Okay, if I didn't make it too big, come on, move. Oh, nope, it's definitely not too big. Better not do that. Let's do it the smart way. Come on, quit turning. That ain't even close. Plywood makes funny shavings, don't it? Then you get into the meat of the thing. Yeah. Out here, before I was hollowing it, it wasn't even on the inside, so I was getting it even on the inside. The reason I went deep out here. That's closer, but no horseshoe yet. Getting close. Pretty close. I've got this on a little bit of a taper. Okay, man, I mean, that could be forced in there. It would stay in there if I give it a good bump or put a couple of clamps on it. I can just barely touch it. Here again. But you take it off this side, you take it off that side over there, be careful. I took off that much. Yeah. Good fit. That'll work. That's how you center these pieces. It's kind of tough to put them up there and center them without some kind of a groove in them. Clamp that on there. When the glue sets, turn it down. Got all kind of choices. You can put a solid top back on it. Put a fancy top on it. All kinds of choices. Go really wild. Put that one up there. That'll look good. Woo! See, that's a little smaller than that, and round that up. Time you get that rounded up, that'll look sharp. Oh, I'll take out a good bit of it, but that one goes all the way out to the edge, so you still have a good bit of design left. Change chucks again. Regular job, you got it. What did I got? Okay. Put that cone on that chuck.
This thing you have going on the 16th is going to be doing things like this too?
Oh, yeah, there'll be some. I'll be turning something like this. I'll be turning a bowl of this, or somebody will be doing an ornament, and somebody will be doing pins. Throughout the day, it'll change. We'll have 6 lathes going.
Gotcha.
Anybody want to volunteer to turn something? We're taking volunteers. Anybody? Okay, you got it. She coughed.
Hey, Diane, thanks.
Yeah, great, Diane. Good, glad to have you.
Way to go, Diane.
Yeah, and I'll be doing some marquetry, probably some sand shading and assembling floral.
Gotta hold that somehow while you turn it.
We put a wire in here, remember?
Yes.
Where is it?
Here it is.
That? Yep. Yep. All right, now I'm going there.
And somebody's going to be doing some scroll sewing too.
Yeah, screw sewing.
George.
I think Robert is here.
Yeah, Robert's probably going to be doing some screw sewing.
And if Carl comes down,
Carl will be, he's coming. You want to do some scroll sewing, we'll have a couple of scroll saws set up, so bring you some stuff. So I like volunteering people.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Since Diane's going to be there anyway, what difference is that?
How do you drill for your plugs?
Well, they're still in little wedges. I set up a fence on the drill press with the same angle, cut a couple of blocks, at the same time I'm cutting the plugs, and just put a fence on the drill press and set it and clamp everything in place and then drill them, just one right after the other. Yeah, you have to do them before you glue them up. Now there's some plugs in some of those bigger rings, I do them after everything's glued up. Okay, just for safety's sake, I put that tailstock in. That means I can turn this up a little faster than normal. This Osage orange is tough stuff. If you've ever worked any of it, you know it's really tough stuff. So you gotta be careful with it. I'm using deep bow gouge. I couldn't use that roughened gouge. I'm gonna put a little paper, a little shape on this. That's what you get using a deep bow gouge. That's not the proper tool for this. But right now we don't care. All we're doing is chopping wood. Chopping wood. Woo, pretty yellow, huh? Got brown streaks in it there. Nice piece. Not looking too bad there. Get some chip out around these holes. That means I'm going to have to speed this up a little bit. Or either sometimes you have to take a 3-inch disc and sand some of these sections because of chip out. The difference the way it looks, did it? Yeah. Turn that off of there. It's going to be right shapely there, right pretty. Clean some of this up just a little bit, make some light cuts right in there. I'm going to turn this up pretty high. That's about 2,000. I'm going to run across this area right here and just take off some little fine shavings. See if I can't smooth out some of those places where it was chipping out. Speed and sharpness of the tool. And the rate of feed has something to do with it too. How fast you move your tool. But mostly the speed and the sharpness of the tool. Yeah, that seemed to have helped that some. Now a little sanding to get that right out of there. It's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to slim it down a little bit more at the bottom. You don't want to get a hurricane lamp too small at the bottom. You don't want any chance of it tilting over. You want it pretty good base for it to set on. I need to work right there, just a hair more right here. That's about smooth enough where I would take the 3-inch disc in the power sander and sand it out. I'd get a little more of this. There's a groove right here, but it'll take a while to work that out, so I'm gonna let it go for right now. Shape looks pretty good. Oops, wrong way.
Sandpaper, or you use a power sander?
Power sander with a 3-inch disc and a 3-inch sandpaper disc.
And the lathe too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Lathe spinning too, yeah. Turn it on, take the power sander and sand it while it's spinning.
What speed?
Depends on sandpaper that you're using, but usually around 400, 500 RPM is fast enough. When you get up to the finer grits, you might want to slow down a little. This just makes it smoother. All right, about all this needs now. It's been hollowed on the inside, but the final cut for the cup hasn't been made yet. I haven't done any classes in my shop for about 10 years now. We'll do a survey. Any of y'all like to come down for a weekend class, a Saturday or Sunday, or Thursday and Friday for retired guys, and turn one of these? Would you enjoy having a class like that if I offered one? Yeah. All right, what about a one-day ornament turning class? Turn one of those Christmas ornaments in one day. Okay, and a one-day class on confetti lamp. Okay, all right, I'm going to set up some and give you the dates. That's a little fast. Now I'm going to do a good bit of trial here right here. I don't know if this is too big or too little. It's hard to measure exact. So that's almost there, but not quite. Here it is up here. What's this?
How wide's that flange?
It's 2 5/8. Oh, this flange at the top?
Yeah.
It's about the same size as.
Yeah, a little room for it.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Sure. They send you the washer, and it's about 3 inches. So I'm going to leave 3 inch flat. That's why I didn't bring this on over any further. I was getting too close to the cone, plus I left that ridge there. But I'll take that out once I get this can to fit and determine where the outside that's going to be. Remember, if you're taking off on the left, you're taking off on the right. I try to put everything together on a taper. If you kind of use a taper, still a good bit. You can. Well, you ever try to turn a peg to go in a hole? You turn it, it's always too big or too little. Put it on a taper and it works.
Tapering that piece you put on, the taper, the theoretical piece you're on to the hole you drilled.
Yeah. I could use calipers, yeah. I'd rather struggle. A lot of easier ways to do it, but I'd rather struggle. I enjoy the struggling part.
Probably in the shop you probably get down just like that.
No, not always. Ooh-wee. It'll set in there. Well, the reason for me being so careful here is I'm afraid I'll get this too big because I want that can to sit in there and be tight. I don't want it 10 chance for it to tilt. So this up here is kind of critical. I want to touch the sides of that can, although it's got that flange on the bottom. And I want it to be really, really uptight. Let's see. One more try here. Still just a hair tight. But that's good.
That top flange, the bottom flange the same?
Yeah. Well, I wish that bottom flange wasn't there, but I guess you can't put a tin can together without a flange at the bottom.
You can, just pay for it.
Yeah, I guess so.
You like a Coke can?
Deep problem.
Oh, that's a little tight down inside. Got it. No play. I can mark this. Go ahead and put that together now. All right. Yeah. So I can come back down and round this up a little bit. Just a little, not much. Anybody know why I'm using a scraper a lot for this kind of stuff, especially on these decorative pieces? Because I'm turning with a grain. I can get just as good a cut scraping as I can cutting. That curve looks pretty good. I see I could take just a hair more right out of there. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and put the globe on it. Okay, how's that look? Oh. And these are very functional. They work really well. If lights go out, you got some lamp oil in there, some kerosene in there. They work very well. Make a great light.
Are they pretty smoky inside the house?
No, not at all. It's a once the wick burns down. Now, of course, with any lamp, when you first turn on the wick till the wick gets burned down, it's going to smoke some. But after the wick's turned down and adjusted properly, see the wick is adjustable, of course. You get the right adjustment. If you don't have the right adjustment, it's going to smoke and fire the inside of the glass. But once the wick gets burned in, it makes a really nice light.
What's a lamp like that worth? Well,
I wouldn't sell that one for less than $125. That'd be my bottom price for it. That one right there with the decorative ring on it, I would probably, if I was taking it to a craft show or some kind of an art show, I'd probably put $150 on it. It should sell for something like that. I mean, it's handcrafted, it's got exotic woods in it, it's got curly maple. These pieces up here at the top, you get them finished, I don't know if you can see it, they're just loaded with curls. So it's going to be a really pretty piece when it's finished.
And then Osage orange in it.
Oh yeah, Osage, it's heavy.
Not real common.
No, it's unusual.
What kind of a finish would you put on it?
I use lacquer for the most part. Fast drying lacquer, and I spray it out of the spray can while it's turning on the lathe.
What's the total number of hours you figure you had in something?
3 or 4, probably. I never made one. I always make 4, 5, 6 at a time.
Cut pieces like.
Cut pieces way ahead of time. Just put them in boxes. I got boxes and boxes of pieces.
Those plugs, tapered plugs, you cut with plug cutter?
They're not tapered. They're straight. I don't know what they've got here for plug cutters, but do they have both straight out of tapered? Yeah. So what you want to do is get you a set of Forstner bits, and if the plug cutters are where you get to them, actually put the bit inside the cutter, make sure it's a good tight fit, because all of them aren't equal from every manufacturer.
Are you going to have some kits for these available at the picnic?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, we'll have some kids' favorite for the picnic. Yeah, for the confetti lamps, for these, for the Christmas tree ornaments, for the bowls, everything. I'm hoping to have some of everything available. But I've taught a lot of classes in the last 30 years, and there's a lot of people that are making and turning these kind of projects. And when I go to woodworking show, back when was it, April? I saw a lot of influence where people turning bowls and Christmas tree ornaments and lamps and things like that. You know, they put their own innovative ideas to it, but some of it's, you know, some of the basics they learned from me, and it kind of makes you feel good to know that somebody likes your work well enough that they want to do it. This last class we had a doctor in there. He's retired, and he come to me about Wednesday. Said, I like this. I said, this is great. I said, I'm gonna get into this. I said, what kind of lathe should I buy? So I told him to start out one of those little deltas out there. What kind of tools should I buy? So he brought me a wood, catalog, and then I pointed out, he lives up in Gainesville, and I pointed out what I thought he ought to have to start with. And on about Friday, he said, I said, I spent about $1,500. But I've talked to him since then, and he says, I am having the best times, and I'm really enjoying this, It kind of makes you feel good to know that you presented something to somebody, and they're just having a really good time with it. And but he's turning like crazy. Are there any other questions?
Do they have any website?
No, but I'm on the Peach State Woodturners website. Peach State, that's the club that meets at my house. And also on Ron Brown's website, some information about me. Plus, if you Google, you'll find me at several different places. You'll find see me turning at the Las Vegas Woodworking Show, and see a room that I did out of cherry that I've turned big columns for the fireplace and the entryway. So I'm on YouTube and several places on the net. Just Google Don Russell and you'll find me.